to order the Committee of the Whole for the City Council of Highland Park, Illinois, January 12th, 2026. Happy New Year, everybody. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Center.
Present.
Councilmember Brockman.
Here.
Councilmember Ross.
Here.
Councilmember Tapia. Councilmember Littleworth.
Here.
Councilmember Bloomberg.
Here.
Mayor Rory.
Here, we have a quorum. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the rescheduled regular meeting of the Committee of the Whole, which was held December 15th, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Those minutes are approved.
May
Hi there. Sorry, I waited, but okay.
I had a quick comment on them. First of all, thank you for the clarification, and because it is as amended, or that was on.
That's for
the main city council.
That's the city council.
That's not for Committee of the Whole.
But I did want to make a comment because I believe we had some discussion at the last meeting. Let me just pull this up. Give me 1 second. I'm really sorry about that. It had to do with our discussion of the place of remembrance.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was clear in the minutes
Right.
that we were going to spend $2 million. We had given sort of an upward direction
Mm-hmm.
potentially for a budget of $2 million that we would look into.
For construction.
Right, for construction, and that the design review was separate and apart and in addition.
Right.
And I just wanted to add to that in fact, because we don't really know line items, because we don't have specific drawings, that not only was that an upward limit, but at some point, I would like to see us keep that.
Oh, there'll be a budget, for
Yeah.
sure. But
And
that
that's
was
the
just sort of
ceiling.
a placeholder as we were moving into
Right.
2026.
So I just wanted to make sure that it was on the record that, because it does say for construction, but the design review at this point is above and not included in that
Right.
2 million.
Right.
But in many ways, I'm hoping that everything will be in that 2 million down the line.
Okay.
But until we have our actual budget, we won't know.
We won't know.
So I just
Right.
wanted to comment on that.
Okay, thank you. I don't think the minutes are impacted, though. I
No,
think we're
not at
okay.
all. No.
All right, well, thank you for that. And then continuing on with our scheduled business, the first item is a discussion about entering into a sales tax rebate agreement for WKN Automotive Incorporated, doing business as McCrath Kia at 250 Skokie Valley Road. And I really appreciate what this conversation is going to provide, because while this has been a program that has existed for over 20 years, I think for a lot of people on the council, this is the first time that they've been hearing the logistics of how it works and why we do it and so forth. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council members and everybody else. So we do have a report and recommendation that is included in the packet, has a detailed staff report as well as next steps. Just as a reminder to the council, so on December 15th, the council did approve a development agreement and special use agreement for McGrath Kia as it pertains to their proposed improvements at their property. In that staff report on December 15th, we did include a notation that we have been working with them for some time as it pertains to a sales tax rebate that coincides with the proposed improvements. As the mayor indicated, the sales tax rebate program is detailed on our website. It was established many years ago as an economic development tool to support really our largest sales tax generators. One, to support their increased economic investment in their property, to retain them in Highland Park, and also as a business attraction tool to attract other high sales tax generators to the community. The criteria, which our staff will go through in a moment, generally applies to, it's mostly car dealerships, just based on the volume and sales tax that they generate. It could also be like grocery stores or generally in that caliber. So the presentation this evening is we'll go through an overview of overall the sales tax rebate program. We're not looking for any changes to that program at this time, but just want to let you know that this proposed initiative does align with that existing policy that we have. And then there is some policy feedback pertaining to terms and conditions in that agreement that we would like your feedback on. In terms of next steps, based on your feedback, we will continue negotiations and discussion, put together an agreement, working with Corporation Counsel, and we'll have that on the next available agenda for formal consideration. And then with that, I'll turn it over to Assistant Manager Jason and also Business Development Manager Jamie Elder, who will go through the balance of the presentation.
Excellent, thanks.
Great, thank you, City Manager. So as
the city manager Newkirk noted, we are seeking feedback from council in relation to the maximum rebate, the revenue share, and terms of the agreement. So these items are all tentatively negotiated between staff and the applicant as part of the application process. The city manager noted we've been working with them for quite some time. This is an at-risk application, so I want to make sure you're aware of that. There is a $5,000 fee to even apply for a sales tax rebate. That goes towards staff time as well as the extensive legal time that goes into the negotiations and final drafts. So I want to make sure that was pointed out. So the items that we are looking for feedback on, these are items that are all, as I said, tentatively agreed to with McGrath based on the following terms and understanding contingent on your review and consideration tonight. So that's the sales tax baseline. That's an estimate that staff has come to at $500,000. That's the existing sales tax we expect from our 1% share, the municipality share, for next year already. So we're 2026 now, sorry, we started this so long ago, it feels like next year. So that's where we think they'll be as a flat baseline. If they do nothing, don't change their model or anything else, this is where we expect them to be. So any dollars we're talking about sharing, cost sharing with them would be above that baseline. So that's a set baseline. The estimate, Jamie's going to talk about this a little bit more, but the revenue share estimate we expect out of this agreement is approximately $300,000 to go back to them. What we're looking at, again, maximum rebate, we're recommending $2 million on what their investment is as well as their eligible expenditures into this project. And then we don't want to set the ceiling lower than what they could earn back. We would love for them to sell out of cars every weekend and tell us like, hey, Aaron, we're going to hit this $2 million in 2 years. But I just want to make sure you're aware our expectation is that $300,000 they're around. But we still want to make sure we keep a steady maximum that recognizes what their current investment is. We're asking for a negotiated revenue share of 50-50 split. There are times in the program when we've gone higher on giving the applicant a higher share. We would not recommend this at this time with McGrath. McGrath agrees with us on that assessment as well. And then we're recommending a term of 12 years or $2 million, whichever is first. And we're going to go back into that a little bit more. Our terms have run from 10 to 15 years on past agreements. We feel 12 is an accurate amount of time for them to reach their max potential for this particular project. So as I was telling you, I'm going to review what our actual policy is. So the purpose of the program, right? Obviously stimulate sales tax growth and create jobs in our high sales tax producers. It's also a huge retention tool. This is not an unusual incentive to see in communities. We know Buffalo Grove, Lincolnshire, Libertyville, some of our other neighboring communities, they also have these types of programs in place because it is something that we see all the time in economic development communities fighting to steal your, and we don't say steal often, I usually say we work well, but people will try to steal your car dealerships. So being able to keep your car dealers in town, being able to have them reinvest in confidence in the community that the community wants them to stay, the longevity that this represents is very important. So that helps us preserve the existing level of sales tax revenue. It helps us protect the interests of the city residents. They do have to meet eligibility requirements, and it's only used, as the city manager mentioned, for projects that will significantly impact sales tax. So we said this program acknowledges investment and commitment by our car dealers to remain in Highland Park. Again, stressing that we don't lose any of our existing sales tax revenue. It's sales tax rebate only applies to that city portion, that 1%. And we're setting that baseline at $500,000. Just for your information, there are no active sales tax rebates at this time. Every sales tax rebate we've had in the past has concluded, and they often conclude early here in Highland Park. People like to buy cars in Highland Park to all of our benefit. Terms of past agreements vary with the maximum, as I mentioned, payout determined relative to eligible expenditures and investment by the applicant. The length of the agreements varied from 10 to 15 years. The last two set at 10 years, due in large part due to the requested cost share being low. So last two agreements we entered into, it was much lower investment by those car dealerships. They did have to meet the criteria, which is a minimum of $250,000 if they were existing, 75 for existing, $250,000 for new, and they had to generate a minimum of $1 million in annual sales tax. So we feel very confident in the 12-year suggestion here. And then the last agreement we entered into was with Lexus in 2015. They hit their maximum payout in 9 years, receiving their last payment in 2025 for sales in 2024. So we did, I know a question always comes up, have we budgeted anything for this? Yes, we anticipated this ask coming in 2026, so there are dollars in the 2026 budget related to a sales tax rebate agreement. Even though it wouldn't be paid out until 2027, it has to be in the 2026 budget. So those dollars are covered in our budget currently.
Can I just
Yeah.
make one addition before you get to the specifics on McGrath? And Karen, it goes a little bit to what you're saying in terms of budgeting. The way we draft the actual document, the sales tax rebate agreement, we make it very clear that the payment of the rebate is not a city obligation. It is not a general fund obligation. It is only an obligation if there is sales tax generated. And we only pay it when we receive the sales tax from the state. So we are not, if there's no sales tax, or if there's no sales tax somehow that doesn't come from the state for whatever reason, and we've known our state to do a lot of crazy things, then we have no obligation to pay.
Okay, good evening. Happy New Year as well. Good to see you all again. And so one of the things we want to cover is definitely the great investment that McGrath is making into our community. So the project is located at 250 Skokie Valley Road. And so please understand in this situation that the Kia Corporation, they're mandating that all of their dealerships are basically have to upgrade to these next generation type of showrooms and service facilities. So they're following the mandate from the corporation. This is not something they're choosing to do on their own. And so with that, that's why we have an additional showroom and sales office. So you'll see in the next slide as well what the new showroom would look like. You can see at the bottom, on your bottom right, the current facility, which is more of an outdated facility, but the new showroom will have more glass, allow for more vehicles, newer model cars. They're also anticipating new sales offices, which will allow for new sales staff, which would also lead to more sales of, of vehicles and also parts and materials in their new service bay. So their current service center is kind of the regular, you drop off your car outside the facility, you have to drive in it. Their new service center would be one of these modern service centers where you drive in as a customer and you can then be protected from the inclement weathers in the winter months, stuff of that nature. So it allows them to turn around cars really fast and sell more parts and materials. So you can see at the bottom their investments in those particular. So the showroom, it costs $3.2 million, and the renovation looking at $540,000 for a total of roughly $3.8 million for this particular investment. And so here's the renderings that they provided us. So I think they also anticipate another 68 spots for vehicles to be displayed outside as well. And you can see that it'd be a lot more glass versus what they currently have, and larger sales showrooms and sales offices. And then on the right, you can see that service center where you can get a pull in. And this is interior look, showing a lot more of the new sales offices where they'll be able to service a lot more clients and staff. So summaries of the recommendations, as our corporate counsel already mentioned, that one of the things in trying to do the estimates, it was that basically looking at, there are some years in which we anticipate there might not be sales because we don't know the macroeconomic conditions over the next 10 to 12 years. So if there are years they don't meet the sales metrics, then we wouldn't pay out. And so as we discussed, it's just a maximum rebate up to $2 million. We hope that they hit that because that would be more sales to the cities. Negotiated revenue splits 50-50, which is consistent with what we've done in the past. And then 12 years or $2 million, whichever comes first. And on average, we looked at maybe 10 to 11 years in the past when our other applicants have met that goal.
Great, thanks. Excellent presentation. Really appreciate the history and the background. And it's always wonderful on this main road through town to see more people investing in their businesses. And you highlighted something that was super important. This is a highly competitive market. We know that there are other communities who are offering similar incentives. This is not a grant. This is not a loan. This is okay, you did a great job. You reached your threshold. Now we'll give you a little bit back to keep you here. So I think it's a win-win across the board. Are there any questions? Councilmember Littlewer, and then Councilmember Tapia, and then Councilmember Sutter.
So one of my questions was in reading the summary, it sounded like it's, so assuming that 500,000 is, they have to make that first before there would be any rebate. But it also seemed like it would be plus CPI.
Correct,
that-
year over year, it
Year over
increases.
year, we're
The
not
baseline
losing.
increases year over
Right,
year.
Okay,
Right.
so I just
So
wanted to make
inflation
sure
is
we
taken
have
in-
that cushion too.
Yep.
So that's number one. And then, just for argument's sake, you've got your 500,000, you've got your CPI. Let's say they make another 50,000 over that 500. So in theory, we are receiving sales tax of 50,000, but then we're going, that's the money that we're going to pay out
Right,
as the 25
yes.
to them.
The delta above the threshold.
Exactly.
So hypothetically, in that situation, we'd receive 550,000, we'd pay them back 25,000.
Exactly. So when you say we're gonna pay them out or it's been budgeted, I mean, you're saying we're taking into account a guesstimate of what their sales tax, where their sales are gonna be. It's not like we're actually paying out from our
That's what-
money.
I agree.
Correct.
That is-
That's why
And
I-
that's why I
That's
just
why he
wanted to
said-
make sure.
That's why I
It's
jumped
not
in
needing
on
the
it.
general fund, it's a rebate, not a grant.
When
not a
we
loan.
get the money,
Only
the
when we
sales
get the
tax,
money.
then
Only
we
when we get
give
the
them that 15% over the 500 plus the
Right.
CPI.
The budget
Just wanna
note is really just internal for our own accounting purposes. The talking point to the public is this type of agreement is based on sharing the growth of new revenue to the city.
Right.
And so we're not sharing any of the current sales tax revenue that we're receiving from an existing car dealership. It's all based on the incremental growth out above the base.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
understand it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilmember Tapia?
Yeah, I just want to take advantage of this conversation. I have no issues with this particular proposal for future, not right now. It'd be interesting to see how much over the, I don't know, the last 5 years or 10 years that we had the program, or however long we've had, what has been the benefit? You know, how much, you know, happened, right, in terms of their investment, how much it went over, and they got a bonus on it, how much did we return to them, you know, because we got the benefit of the growth, right?
Yeah, we do have, and we can provide it, there are, is it 5 examples in the packet dating back to 2005? So I can definitely make sure and share that with you.
Yeah, I see that, I see that,
Okay.
right, but it's more kind of the macro, it's like, you know, because this is granular, right, line item by line item, but kind of from an economics perspective, what was the big win?
I'm
over
going to
that
challenge
period?
that question only because I don't know how you quantify, you have people working in town. You can't quantify loss of your dealership to another community. And we have had a few situations where people said, oh, Lake Bluff, you know, they have that whole car row, or Northbrook, they have that whole car row. They're offering me an incentive. It's kind of hard to prove something that didn't happen as well. So I appreciate what you're saying. You want to make sure that this is worth doing. But I think there are kind of certain elements that are going to be difficult to quantify. Just
Yes,
be aware of
certain
that.
elements, I think there's some
Yeah.
elements that can be quantified.
Sure, sure. Okay.
Not urgent.
Joel, and then
I
Councilor
just wanted to mention also, Mayor, that in the past, you know, these types of deals have helped keep the car dealerships here, and they invested in their locations. We
Right.
had significant reinvestment in our.
Yeah, and see, that's a great metric.
Right.
How
If
much,
you look
how
at
much
41.
incentive of reinvestment did this stimulate? I mean,
Yeah.
that's-
Sure.
That we can certainly quantify for you, absolutely, absolutely. Councilmember Sauer?
Well, a few questions. Thanks for the presentation. The max exposure to us, if I understand, kind of going back to Councilmember Littler's math example, 750,000? Is that right? Million and a half divided by 2?
2 million.
2 million.
So that's 500,000.
So this is beyond the 500,000.
That's right.
Right.
So 2 million
Beyond-
minus 500,000 divided by 2?
No, they'll hit 500,000.
So
and then they
2.5
can-
million minus
Yes,
500,000.
let's have that problem.
So that,
But
Yeah.
exposure, that's the, and that's what I wanted to be careful about. That's the max that we would be rebating.
it's
Rebating,
still exposure, because if we don't have the program, that's 100% our sales tax dollars.
if they stay,
If they stay, or it's 100% of zero,
right.
or it's 50% zero.
We're not, sure, but that's not the question.
The max
Yes.
rebate would be 2 million.
The max rebate
So
would
that's
be
2 million over 12 years. I think where I'm getting your math wrong, sorry to interrupt. That $500,000 baseline, and that increases every year. They have to go over that base every year before
Every
there's
year.
any
It's
payout.
not
I
just
just
for the
want-
first
The
year,
maximum rebate is 2 million above the 500,000.
annually. So annually, they have to hit the 500 plus CPI plus.
It's not
plus-
$2
The 2
million.
million's over 12
2
years.
It's over 12.
million
Over
is
12
over the
years.
total of 12 years, and the hitting of the threshold is annually.
And if they hit that, if they hit that 2 million, if they have like the best car sales ever because of these 68 new spots, and they hit $2 million in rebates in like year 3, then we're done. We don't
Right.
pay them out anymore.
So that is the
John,
total.
you had the math exactly right, as did as did Annette, Councilmember Littler. But I just want to be careful with the word exposure, as though it's something that the city would have to dig into its
Right.
Understood.
funds.
It's a-
Your answer is yes, above the 500,000.
Each year.
Each year above the 500,000. So let's say we just only generated, let's say they went in lower than expected every single year for 12 years.
Yep.
We wouldn't give them anything, and we
Understood.
still keep 100% of that sales tax
Yes.
revenue.
Right.
Can they get 750,000 or a million? I'm just trying to get the math straight.
They can get 2 million over 12 years.
Their shares of 2 million, that's.
Their share
so it's
is
4
2
million.
million.
Their share
They can
is
get
2
up to
million.
2 million.
Yes.
So
I get it.
four
They have to
four
generate-
million
I get
for
it.
everybody,
Yes.
half of
Okay,
that.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. We got there, sorry.
Okay.
What is, from a budgetary perspective, it's early in the year.
It's all good.
What did we have for, I don't think you budgeted like the
They do, but,
customer level, right?
no, they budget sales tax estimates
Yeah.
from cars because when the whole tariff thing was going on.
Yeah.
Poor Christie, I was like, how are you doing this? Are we still selling cars because of all the tariffs and all of that? So they do on that line item, if you look at the financial reports every month,
Yep.
we get that breakout of sales tax, and one of the lines is cars and gas and whatever, so.
Okay, just
And
trying
that's
to
from the
gauge
state.
like from a net, on a net basis, that our proposal here is no worse than what we had in the budget.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Question about the criteria. I think it said something about $1 million of sales tax, right?
Correct.
Why then is our base 500,000?
That was my first one.
Because they are supposed to be projecting at least that much. So our base is that they generate on average, but we don't get all their sales tax. So it's their annual sales tax is over $1 million, but it's our 1% of the baseline settlement.
Okay. And so the 500,000 is based on a projection that they're gonna do 50 million in revenue?
So it's based on our, yes, it's based on
Basically-
our, it's based on our research on what they've done,
Yeah.
what their other dealerships in Kia that have done this growth and done this, as Jamie mentioned, right? It's like a mandated update, having 68 more cars, where do we think they'll be if they were just where they were? Where do we think they'll be, with the addition? So the 500,000 comes from, if they didn't change anything, where would they be?
Do they submit to you cash flow forecasts or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I did the due diligence on it, so
Yeah.
right, the challenge with them is that they only have 18 months of data.
Sure.
So it's a new, and we don't have too many comps in Illinois, especially North Shore. And so we just have to project out based on our 18 months and then what we project going forward.
We don't have counts from Kia, right, but we've got other car dealerships, right?
Yes, other car-
And so is that part of your analysis? So-
Yeah, so they will give us, they gave me their projections of what they thought they will do, and then we take their projections and then try to project 12 years out.
Okay.
And their sales tax and use returns that they submit to the Illinois Department of Revenue, we also receive those as well. So the accounting is based on that.
Okay, fantastic. I think I heard you say that they're required to build this, right? Or they're required to sort of upgrade their facility per Kia corporate, like what we saw with Genesis too, right?
Right.
So are they, like, they're going forward with this whether we provide the rebate or not, true or false?
That is true. They have to, but I will tell you, it is something that they've been negotiating with us in good faith, with the hope that they could still do it
Okay.
here in Highland Park,
Sure.
to put that money in. Jamie and I have both been part of these type of, not in Highland Park, and Kita as well, part of sales tax rebate agreements, and that is a big piece of it. That's, that knowing that the city is your partner in this project helps retain that business here.
Yep, okay, and then one final question, and this may have come up in the past during the original approval or conditional approval. Do they own that property or they lease it?
They own the property, so there's a separate LLC or Inc. or LLC that owns the properties for all the McGraths.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Excellent, thanks. Councilman Bloomberg?
Thanks. Just anecdotally, these are conversations that go back to when I first started on the city council. The first time I was approached by any of the dealers to discuss in advance of the city council discussion, I was approached by the late Mayor Geraci, just to give you an idea of how far back that goes. And so this has been sort of an ongoing, I would go so far as to say, a traditional way of helping to retain car dealers in Highland Park. Car dealers tend to be, as we've heard, much more mobile than other kinds of business, very willing to go to where the economy is the most advantageous for them. And it requires a commitment to expanding. At that time, there was a discussion of how they were going to expand. In the interim between then and this discussion, other dealers have come in seeking tax rebates on the impetus of expanding their facilities, increasing the amount of their sales. And they've unfailingly lived up to that. And it has resulted in higher taxes, sales taxes, higher amounts of sales tax to the city of Highland Park, even with the rebates. Anecdotally, we have lost very few dealers. I don't think we've lost any dealers over an expansion issue. We did lose the Tesla dealership over, I think, some other issues. So I think it's very important to show our love, if you will, but it is I think, a reasonable economic commitment because it's carefully calculated. It requires that they generate the kinds of tax that they are expecting to generate. It does require certain minimum limits, both in terms of initial generation of sales tax and initial outlay for the expansion of their facilities, and a reasonable cap. So in the end, I think it's a reasonable economic incentive program that to me differs from my complaints about the restaurant issue, where I feel that the city is making loans in an industry that is far more volatile than the car dealership industry, which has been pretty stable over the years.
Thank you. Any other comments?
So, just one question, and this could be, I don't know what this is. So after, let's say they hit the 2 million or the 12 years, if they decide to expand, or not necessarily them, but another dealership, do they get the opportunity to apply again for a tax rebate? Or like, I mean, I guess you look into the future and how do you keep these car dealerships in Highland Park and working with us? I guess that's the question.
Yes, as long as they meet the criteria. So the
Okay.
existing dealerships, it's $75,000 investment or more. And they also have to prove up to us that they're creating new sales tax. So it's not just like, hey, we wanted to paint everything. You know, it's
Right.
what are you doing to bring more cars onto your lot, more service parts being sold? And then if it's a new dealership, it's $250,000 investment or more.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilman Ross?
Just a comment, not a question, but looking at the images, I feel like that is maybe another positive, that it seems very tasteful, and pared down. It just seems very tasteful. I think it will attract people, so I think that's a positive, as well as the program.
Great, thank you. So do you need a vote?
No.
I have a
Just-
sense that people are understanding and comfortable.
So we'll have an agreement, hopefully on the next agenda.
Yeah, we've been benefiting nicely, from all the upgrades, actually. I mean, 41
Absolutely.
is looking
If
pretty
you look at
significant.
41 and where it was and how we've proceeded,
Yeah.
it's really nice,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that helps us attract additional car dealers.
Right, exactly, exactly. Thanks, Aaron and Jamie, for a great presentation and discussion. Really appreciate it.
Package.
So we're gonna recess, we're gonna grab dinner, and then our guests from Italy are coming at 6:30, which should be fantastic. So we'll take a recess for about an hour, and we'll be back. Thanks. I think it's important to start with buonasera. Good evening, everybody. I'm the mayor of Highland Park, Illinois. It's my delight to welcome all of you. And I have some comments I'd like to share first, but just want to say Thank you to this incredible group for joining us this evening. I wish I had more Italian than buonasera. But tonight we are honored to host a very special delegation of representatives from our sister city of Modena, Italy, who are visiting Highland Park to honor the impact of Don Sante Bartolai. A native son of Highland Park, Don Sante Bartolai spent the majority of his life in religious service in Italy, where his remarkable contributions and his personal commitment to serving others led to the founding of Città dei Ragazzi. How am I doing? Close? Okay. Modeled after Boys Town, that I can say, the groundbreaking home and school for at-risk boys founded by Father Edward Flanagan in Omaha, Nebraska in 1917, this organization provides vocational training, education, financial support, access to sports, and more for young people experiencing poverty, homelessness, and other needs. Don Sante Bartolai is also honored at the United States Holocaust Museum as a righteous Gentile for his underground fight against fascism and protection of Jewish Italians during World War II. Highland Park Sister Cities Foundation is a tremendous asset to our community, and I'm pleased to tell you that we have our newest student commissioner with us this evening, Sammy Gordon. And I said to her, Sammy, you're going to have the time of your life with these people. They are so much fun. So I'm so glad that we can celebrate with all of you. Through the foundation's stewardship of relationships with our sister cities of Modena, Italy, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and Yerucham, Israel, Highland Park has enjoyed rich intercultural exchanges from music and the arts to international robotics students competitions. Annually on Sister Cities Day, we proudly recognize this incredible program and the volunteers for their hard work and commitment to bridging geographic distance through goodwill, education, and shared experiences. These global bonds of friendship are more important than ever. So on behalf of the City of Highland Park and my council colleagues who are with me this evening, we are truly delighted to welcome our friends from Italy. I don't know, Carol, if you want people to stand up when I call their names, that might be a helpful thing, or they don't have to, whatever you think. Okay, I have a list. We're prepared up here in Highland Park. Don Stefano Violi. You are the director of Città dei Ragazzi. Father Simone Cornia, Director of Youth Ministry of the Diocese of Modena. Welcome. Dr. Massimiliano Morini, Director of the Vocational School of the Città dei Ragazzi. Dr. Elena Arocchi, Youth Ministry of the Diocese of Modena. Welcome. Enrico Bellini from the Sanctuary of Fiorano in Modena. Welcome. Mariana Dalle Nogare from Sestola. Welcome. Antonio Verardi, Musical Oratory of the Città dei Ragazzi. Dr. Chiara Franchini, First Secretary of the Foreign and Security Policy Area of the Italian Embassy in Washington. Welcome. And we're equally honored that Bishop Timothy O'Malley is here as well. Welcome, Bishop. Thank you to the Highland Park Sister Cities representatives who are here this evening, especially President Carol Wolf. Please rise, Carol. And Vice President Lori Bernardi Wyatt. We're also pleased to recognize our State Senator Julie Morrison, who is joining us to recognize the delegation as well. Welcome, Senator. So thank you all so much for celebrating the shared history and friendship of our sister cities, Highland Park and Modena tonight. We'll begin with a proclamation, which I will read first in English, followed by a reading in Italian by Vice President Wyatt. And then we would like to present a small recognition to each of our honored guests, followed by presentations by Sister Cities President Carol Wolf and Senator Morrison. Following the presentations, we would appreciate it if everybody would please pause for pictures. I will begin with our proclamation. In recognition of special guests from Modena, Whereas since its inception in 1956, the goal of Sister Cities International has been peace through citizen diplomacy, reflecting a belief in the power of personal connections. And Lori, do you want to read line by line with me, or do you want to?
I'm going to have, Max is going to translate for us.
So do you want me to read the whole thing first in English? Okie doke, we'll make it easier on everybody. Whereas as members of Sister Cities International and 5-time Best Overall Program winner, the Highland Park Sister Cities Foundation has embraced this mission through cultural, educational, and business exchanges and programs to provide humanitarian relief. The Highland Park Sister Cities Foundation has connected people in our community with people in our sister cities, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, Modena, Italy, and Yerucham, Israel. The results have transformed lives and created lifelong bonds of friendship. And whereas priest Don Stefano Violi is the director of Città de Ragazzi, Boys Town in Modena, modeled after the Boys Town started by Father Flanagan in the United States, Don Stefano is leading a delegation from Modena to Highland Park on a pilgrimage. But why Highland Park? They are coming to thank the community that gave birth to Don Sante Bartolai, one of their inspiring priests and benefactors. And whereas Don Sante Bartolai was born in Highland Park in 1917, he and his 4 brothers were orphaned and sent to be raised by an aunt in Sant'Anna Pelago in the mountains of northern Italy. 3 of his brothers returned to the United States. Don Sante Bartolai remained in Modena and entered the seminary. He was ordained a priest in 1942. And whereas his values and humanity led him to become an active member of the partisans in northern Italy called the Modena Underground Movement, Don Sante Bartolai was captured by the fascists who turned him over to the Nazis and sent him to Dachau and then to Mauthausen concentration camp, where he experienced unspeakable horrors. And whereas liberated in May of 1945, he was sent to a convent in Europe to regain his health. There he wrote his memoir, Da Fossoli a Mauthausen. Soon after, he founded Città de Ragazzi, Boys Town of northern Italy. He returned active in parish work, often returning to Highwood and Highland Park until his death in 1978. And whereas Don Sante Bartolai's name is inscribed in the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., as a righteous Gentile, a non-Jewish person who risked his life to save Jews during the Holocaust, a title officially awarded by Israel's Yad Vashem to recognize extraordinary bravery and humanity. And whereas Don Stefano conducted a mass in tribute to Don Sante Bartolai today, January 12th at 5 p.m. at St. James Church in Highwood. Now, therefore, I, Nancy Rodering, Mayor of the City of Highland Park, and the City Council of the City of Highland Park, Lake County, Illinois, do hereby declare January 12, 2026 as Don Sante Bartolai Day, and I encourage all residents to welcome this esteemed delegation from Modena, Italy, as well as to celebrate the deep bonds of our sister cities' relationship, connected by a truly remarkable man who exemplifies the best in humanity. Thank you.
In riconoscimento dei nostri ospiti speciali di Modena, considerato che fino dalla sua fondazione nel 1956 l'obiettivo di Sister City International è stato la pace attraverso la diplomazia cittadina, a testimonianza della fiducia nel potere delle relazioni personali. Considerato che in quanto membri di Sister City International e vincitori per 5 volte del premio Miglior Programma in Assoluto, la Highland Park Sister Cities Foundation ha abbracciato questa missione attraverso scambi culturali, educativi e commerciali e programmi di assistenza umanitaria. L'Highland Park Sister Cities Foundation ha messo in contatto le persone della nostra comunità con quelle delle nostre città gemellate, Puerto Vallarta, Messico, Modena, Italia, Yerucham, Israele. I risultati hanno trasformato le vite e creato legami di amicizia duraturi. Considerato che Don Stefano Violi è il direttore della città dei ragazzi Modena, sul modello Boys Town fondata da padre Flanagan negli Stati Uniti, Don Stefano guida una delegazione da Modena a Highland Park in pellegrinaggio. Ma perché proprio Highland Park? Vengono per ringraziare la comunità che ha dato i natali a Don Sante Bartolai, uno dei loro sacerdoti e benefattori più stimati. Considerato che Don Sante Bartolai nacque ad Highland Park nel 1917, Lui e i suoi 4 fratelli rimasero orfani e furono affidati alle cure della zia da Sant'Anna Pelago, sulle montagne dell'Italia settentrionale. 3 dei suoi fratelli tornarono negli Stati Uniti. Don Sante Bartolai rimase a Modena ed entrò in seminario. Fu ordinato sacerdote nel 1942. Considerato che i suoi valori e la sua umanità lo portarono a diventare un membro attivo dei partigiani nell'Italia settentrionale, nel movimento chiamato Resistenza Modenese, Don Sante Bartolai fu catturato dai fascisti che lo consegnarono ai nazisti e lo mandarono a Dachau e poi al campo di concentramento di Mauthausen dove vissero orrori indicibili. Considerato che liberato nel maggio del 1945 fu mandato in un convento in Europa per ristabilirsi, lì scrisse le sue memorie, da Fossoli a Mauthausen. Poco dopo fondò la città dei ragazzi, la Boys Town dell'Italia settentrionale. Rimane attivo nel lavoro parrocchiale, tornando spesso ad Highwood ed Highland Park, fino alla sua morte nel 1978. Considerato che il nome di Don Sante Bartolai è scritto nel Museo dell'Olocausto di Washington DC come giusto tra le nazioni, una persona non ebrea che ha rischiato la propria vita per salvare ebrei durante l'Olocausto, a titolo ufficialmente conferito dallo Yad Vashem di Israele per riconoscere l'eccezionale coraggio e l'umanità. Considerato che Don Stefano ha celebrato una messa in memoria di Don Sante Bartolai il 12 gennaio alle ore 17 presso la chiesa di San Giacomo a Highwood. Io, Nancy Rotering, sindaco della città di High Park e il consiglio comunale della città di Highland Park, contea di Lake Illinois, dichiariamo con la presente il 12 gennaio 2026 come giornata di Don Sante Bartolai e incoraggiamo tutti i residenti ad accogliere la delegazione di Modena Italia e a celebrare i propri profondi legami del nostro gemellaggio, uniti da un uomo straordinario che incarna il meglio dell'umanità.
Mille grazie. At this time, I'd like to invite Sister Cities President Carol Wolf to share a few comments.
Hello, everyone. Whoa, this has really been an emotional, incredible day. Actually, the planning of this event has been incredible. First, I want to say thank you, Mayor Rodering, for the proclamation honoring Don Sante Bartolai and making today Don Sante Bartolai Day in Highland Park. Thank you, members of the City Council, for your continued support of Sister Cities in our programming. We are so grateful to all of you for your support. Thank you to members of the Highland Park Sister Cities Foundation who are here tonight for your continued efforts as well. Without your work and dedication and efforts to make the world a better place through citizen diplomacy, we wouldn't even be here tonight. When Highland Park became Sister Cities with Modena, Italy, notice how I said Modena? We had no idea of this deep and spiritual connection. The bonds of our sister city relationship were strong, but now they are profoundly deeper because we are connected by a remarkable man who exemplifies the best in humanity. And I just learned something at the Mass before. I don't know if I'm going to get the story correct, so if I'm wrong, correct me. But evidently, 2 people who were relatives of Don Sante Bartolai were on the internet, and they found out about tonight. And they came to the Mass, and they're here with us tonight. And so, with open hearts and full hearts and open arms, we welcome you to your home away from home. In Italian, abbraccia aperte e con il cuore colmo di gioia vi diamo il benvenuto, cari amici, nella vostra seconda casa. Before, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. We're all here tonight because of a vision of Mayor Dan Pierce, who isn't here with us tonight, but will always be in our hearts. And Rhoda Pierce, his wife, who was our first president, Rhoda. And I also want to acknowledge Larry Block, because Larry and Lou Lamberti were the ones who started our Modena Sister City relationship. And we always say we are all connected. So thank you all, and we are so filled with gratitude and love. Thank you.
Thank you. State Senator Julie Morrison, we invite you to the podium to share a few comments as well. So glad you could join us.
It is really my pleasure to represent the state of Illinois tonight, to welcome all of our special visitors from Italy. I will tell you, I don't know of another community that does this, that makes the international connections as well and as long-lasting as Highland Park. Tonight, we are honoring your history and the history you share with the city of Highland Park, but we are also building the future of friendship to go long after we have all left this place. We are sharing the work of making our world a more peaceful, a friendlier, a more joyful, a more connected place for all of us to live. It is an honor to be here with you tonight. I want to thank you for traveling across mountains and an ocean to get here to be with us. We are truly grateful to have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator Morrison. At this time, I'm going to invite each member of the delegation forward, and when your name is called, I'd like to present you with a small token of our appreciation for your continued partnership. We're pleased to present each member with a certificate, city coin that has the seal of Highland Park on it, and I believe, Senator Morrison, did you have something to contribute as well? Yes, okay, great. They'll come back afterwards. Each person gets their moment. Okay, thank you. And with that, let's see, Ida, am I reading names? Is somebody else? I think I am. Okay. Let's see. That. Great. So come join me, Senator Morris. And Carol, do you want to come join me? Thanks. Okay, thank you. Someone need this. Okay, there we go. So do you want to call the first name?
Okay.
Thank you.
So, the mayor and the city council is proud to present an honorary citizen of Highland Park to all of our guests who are here with us tonight. So you are now part of our community. So first name, Don Stefano.
First, we always give flags to
Don Simone. Thank you. Massimo Morini. How do I pronounce this? Dottora. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dottoressa? Is that how I would say it? Elena Ricci?
Thank you.
Enrico Bellini?
Thank you.
Mariana Dalle Nogare? Antonio Verardi? And Dottoressa Chiara Franchini?
It's such a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Maybe you can get a picture?
Yes, I think so. We'll have everybody come stand here behind the railing. So if you can come stand closer to the group in there. Thank you. Thank you.
for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Oh, my goodness.
So just to conclude, I just want to thank everybody that we've had the opportunity to honor this evening, and most particularly to share this incredible legacy of Don Santo Bartolai, of honor, of service, of sacrifice for so many, both in our community and in Europe. We look forward to continuing to reassure our friendship with Modena for many years to come. Mille grazie. Arrivederci.
Mayor Rotary?
Yes, ma'am.
Stefano has something to give you.
Oh, my gosh.
This is really, really special. So, do you want to explain what this is, the diary?
Oh, my gosh.
This is the diary that you could explain to them.
So, Don Stefano want to give you the diary written by Don Sante Bartolai, in which book Don Sante tells his story from when he was captured in Modena and bringing it to the Mauthausen and Dachau. And it's a really strong book, and for us it's really important to share this book with you. We are working to make a new edition of the book with maybe we hope also an English version, so we can send you and all we can be connected in the memories of Don Sante Bartolai, not only working on the past, but we want to look to the future and to stay together and connected in the future, okay?
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Very special. Thank you. And my understanding is you now have dinner awaiting you at the Bocce Club. So have a wonderful evening, and thank you all. Okay, let's do that. With that, I am seeking a motion to go into closed session
I would,
for purposes of purchase of property.
yes, motion to go into closed session for purchase or lease of property pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C5.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Will the clerk call the vote?
Need a roll call.
Councilmember Center?
Aye.
Councilmember Bruckman?
Aye.
Councilmember Ross?
Aye.
Councilmember Tapia?
Aye.
Councilmember Littleworth?
Aye.
Councilmember Bloomberg?
Aye.
Mayor Rotary?
Aye, we'll go into close. Thank you.